Hello students, we are studying this chapter temperature and heat, and in the last class we have studied about conduction, that is one of the method of heat transfer which is the primary mode of heat transfer in solids, and also we have studied about conductors and insulators. Now in this class we are going to study about the other method of heat transfer, that is about convection, and also we are going to study about practical application of conduction. The last class we have studied about conduction. Now we will see what are the different application, what are the different things which is based on conduction method of heat transfer, that is conduction in our day-to-day life. And also we are going to study about convection of heat. Now coming to practical application of conduction. See, so in the last class we have studied about conductors and insulators. Both are useful to us. Means even the insulators and conductors both are useful to us in different ways in our day-to-day life, depending on our needs, what type of need we are having. So we use good conductors to make utensils and heat resistance plastic to make the handle of the vessels. When we talk about the vessels, I think in each and every house this is used as vessels and utensils are used. Even the body means the utensils are made up of this metals that is a good conductor of heat. While the handles of the utensil, as you can see here in this picture, the handle of the utensils are made up of what? That is made up of plastic, that is an insulator. While the body is made up of, this one is made up of metals, that is a good conductor of heat. Even when we talk about this frying pan, as you can see here, the pan, this handle is made up of plastic, while this is made up of that is a non-stick, and it is also made up of some metals inside that. Metal is used, and that is also good. Why this is used made up of metal? So that metal can absorb heat and heat will transfer by the help of conduction. Here also you are seeing this kettle. There the handle of this kettle is made up of plastic, so that we can grab it properly and the heat will not pass through there. Even in the case of this iron is also here, as you can see here, the handle is made up of plastic, that is an insulator, while this part of this iron here, that is metal, is used so that it can supply heat, it can have that heat through which we can iron our clothes. So the handle of the kettles, hot iron, cooking utensils are made up of wood and plastics, which are the good insulators of heat. While the case of the utensil, it is made up of metals. Even the wires, which is able to conduct this electricity, that wire is also made up of metal, while the outer covering of this wire is made up of plastic and insulator. So this is about the practical application of conduction. Here the question can be asked, why does the handle of utensils are made up of insulators, and why metals are used to making these utensils? So these type of question can be asked from here, from the practical application of conduction. So these are the different applications of conduction. Now coming to the other point that is very interesting, in winter season we are using this woolen clothes, and that woolen clothes are bad conductor of heat, that is an insulator, act as an insulator, and it helps in keeping our body warm. Now one question arises here, that what is there inside a wool which keeps our body warm? How it works, how it acts as an insulator? Let us study about that. So we wear woolen clothes in winter because wool is a bad conductor of heat. Thus it helps in retaining body warmth. The wool fiber has a series of curls, and these are called crimps. As you have studied in class 6 about in fiber to fabric, that knitting method that is used to knit woolen clothes. And when you just stretch out the woolen clothes, you will see the small gaps, that crimps you will see in that. And that small gaps is having that traps air inside that. Okay, so the wool fiber has a series of curls, and these are called crimps. That is called crimps, and that creates small air pockets. So these crimps create a small air pockets. The greater the number of crimps, the greater is the number of air pockets which can hold and trap air. So whenever the greater the number of crimps, so what will happen? The greater the number of air pockets will be there. And what will be the benefit of that air pocket? So the air helps in holding that that pocket, that crimps helps in holding and trapping that air, and thus due to that thin layer of air is created. Due to that crimps, due to that small air pockets, there the air is trapped and it creates a thin layer of air. And as we know that air is a bad conductor of heat, air is an insulator, and due to that thin layer of air is created which insulates us from cold, means it cuts the contact of our inner body temperature to the outer atmospheric temperature, and this is how it helps to keeping our body warm, and we use this woolen clothes in winter season. So the reason behind this is that here in the case of wool fiber has a series of curls, and these are called crimps, and these crimps create small air pockets, and in that small air pockets air is trapped and it creates thin layer of air, and due to that air is a bad conductor of heat, and it just cuts the supply of cuts the contact of the inner body temperature to the outer one and keeps our body warm. This is why we use woolen clothes in winter season. Now coming to the convection, till here we have studied about conduction, that is about conduction, how does it occur, about conductors and insulators, the practical application of conduction, and also in the last we have studied about why we wear this woolen cloth, that also comes in practical application of conduction. Now coming to the convection, that is the other method of heat transfer which we will see in fluids. So it is seen in liquid and gases in which the molecules are less densely packed and are free to move. Thus convection is the primary mode of heat transfer in fluid. See, this convection occurs, or the heat is transferred by the help of convection in solid or liquid. In liquid and gases. Liquid and gases together known as fluid. Fluid means what? Which can flow. So liquid and gases can flow. Why they are able to flow? Because here in the case of liquid and gases, particles are loosely packed. They are just not tightly packed. They are just away from each other, and they are free to move. And here in the case of this fluids, this heat is transferred by the convection. So convection requires the movement of particles, while conduction does not require the movement of particles. So it is seen in liquid and gases in which the molecules are less densely packed and free to move. Thus convection is the primary mode of heat transfer in fluids. So in the case of gases and liquid, the primary mode of heat transfer will be what? It will be a convection. Now let us see how this convection occurs. Okay, suppose that here one beaker is there, in that beaker some liquid is there, and when we just start supplying heat to this beaker, then what will happen? The molecules or atoms which is present at the base of the beaker, that will absorb the heat. When it absorbs the heat from the flame, then the molecules becomes lighter in nature. Means the density of the molecules or density of that area will decrease, and the molecules will become lighter in nature. The atoms will become lighter in nature. And when becomes light, when its mass will decrease, it becomes light in nature. Then it moves upward direction. Then it move up. That molecules will move up in the liquid. Okay, that will move up. When it move up and leaving their space, then here the gap is created. When here the gap is created, so what will happen is that the particles which is present at the upper level, that will be heavier and also the denser in nature. So why it will be heavier? Because it is cool. It is quite cool with respect to the molecules which is there at the base of the container. Due to absorption of heat, that particular molecules becomes lighter in nature, and when their mass will decrease, it move up in this container, it move up in the liquid, and here the gap is created. So to fill that gap, the particles which is present at the upper side, means that is a bit denser, they are having the more density, and also the mass of that particle will be more than that of that particle which is present at the base of the container. So to the particle which is there, that comes down here and comes down and just take that space which is just left by the particles which absorb that heat. So after that, what will happen? Then again that particles which comes down from the upward direction to the lower side, then again they absorb the heat from the flame and becomes lighter in nature. When they becomes lighter in nature, they move up, and the particles which is present at the upper side, they comes down to fill that space. When they fill that space, again they absorb that heat and becomes lighter in nature. Then again they move up, and here the space is created, and a colder one, it comes to fill that gap. And this is how one cyclic movement is there inside the liquid, and that current, one current is generated inside the liquid during the transfer of heat, and that current is known as convection current. That is called convection current. As you can see here, that is called convection current. Means the particle at the base of the container absorb the heat. After absorption, the density will be decreased, the mass will be decreased, and due to decrease in that particular quantity, they becomes lighter and move up in the atmosphere, up in this particular space. And when they move up, here gap is created, and to fill that gap, the particles which is present at the upper side comes down because it is heavier with respect to this one. So they will come down to fill this space. And this is a cyclic movement, goes on, and one current is generated, and that current is known as convection current. So warm water molecules rises, cold water molecule descending down means comes down to fill that gap. And this is how this one current is generated inside the liquid, and that is called convection current. Okay, so this method by which heat is transferred by the mass movement of liquid or gas itself called convection. So here what will happen? Here actually the molecules of this liquid or even the gas is moving from one place to another. There is a mass movement of the molecules from one side to the other side, and it goes on, and this is called this type of method of heat transfer is called convection. Okay, so this method by which heat is transferred by the mass movement of the liquid or gas itself is called convection. So if a vessel, as you can see here, kept on a flame, the water at the bottom of the vessel gets hot. Since hot water is lighter than the cold water, that's why it rises up carrying the heat energy within it. The colder and the denser on the top falls at the bottom of the vessel and gets heated in turn. This process continues, result in circulating stream, as you can see here in this picture, from the hot region to the cold water. As a result, all water in the vessels gets heated, and this is called convection. In convection, there is a mass movement of the particles, and heat is transferred due to the mass movement of the particles in liquid and gaseous state in the case of convection. When we talk about conduction, there is no any movement in the particles. That heat energy is passed due to the vibration and the collision between the molecules. While in the case of liquid and gases, heat energy is passed due to the mass movement of the particles from one side to the other side. This is how this convection occurs. So the method by which heat is transferred by the mass movement of the liquid or gas is called convection. This will be the definition of convection. It is a method by which heat is transferred by the mass movement of liquid or gas itself is called convection. Now coming to the practical application of convection, what are the different things which is there in our surrounding which works on the convection. So the principle of convection of heat can be used in many applications. When you want to warm a liquid, you should warm it from below. Yes. When we have to warm any liquid, we cannot warm it from the top side. We have to warm it from the below. Why? Because that from the below, when we heat it from the below, that the particles which is there at the base of the container, they will absorb that it becomes lighter and it will move up. That's why we have to just supply heat from the downside. Okay, and then it will move up, and then again the particles which is present at the upper side of the container, that vessel, that will come down to fill that gap. So you should warm it from below. If room has to be warmed with a room heater, the heater should be placed at the lower level. Yes, when we have to use this room heater, it will work efficiently when we keep at the lower level. It is because it will just supply heat to the air molecules which is present in the room at the lower side. And when it supplies the heat, it becomes lighter and it moves up in the room, and the cold and the molecules which is present at the upper side of the room, that will be colder with respect to this one molecules, and will come to fill that gap. and here the convection current is generated and it will work more effectively. Similarly, air conditioner, when we talk about the air conditioner, in air conditioner it absorbs the even the warm air from the room and just supply the cooler one. So that's why it is fitted at the higher level. Why? Because it just keep it's flow out the colder air at the upper side and it will be quite heavier, and from the downward side warm air rises up and the colder one, that is cool air which just come out from the air conditioner come from the higher level to the lower region where it will be the warmer. So here the convection current will generate and it will work more efficiently. That's why it is fitted at a higher level due to this convection current. So that convection current generate more properly and will work more effectively. That's why it is fitted at a higher level. While in the case of the room heater, it is fitted at a lower level because it just gives the warm heat radiation. While in the case of the air conditioner, it gives a cooled air. So that's why. Why in the case of this earlier time, I think all of you have seen these windows and ventilators were designed such that the buildings were kept in cool in summer. If you visit any old house, look out this, you will see that ventilators is present at the upper side of the room. Why? Because warm air rises up and it will just come out from this ventilator more effectively, and the colder air which is just come from that ventilator and is come to the space which is just created by the warm air and come to fill that space. So that's why this ventilators is present at the higher level in the room and anywhere. Okay, so even the windows is also is having that height so that it will able to pass out the air more properly. So this is about the practical applications of convection. Here the many questions can be asked from here. Why this air conditioner is fitted at the higher level and room temperature, room heater is fitted at the lower side. Okay, why, how this ventilator works, what do you understand about convection current? So these type of questions can be asked from here. So today we have studied about practical application of conduction, and also we have studied about convection and its practical applications, and today this much we have studied. Here are some questions which is based on what we have studied today. Go through these questions and try to solve it. I hope all of you have understood what we have studied today. Thank you for listening to me.